Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the League One Transfer Rumour Roundup. Because it has taken a while for me to upload another episode, there's a lot to go through, let's put it that way, and we will begin by talking about the completed deals. Now there has been a lot, as I say, that have gone through since the latest video, so we are just going to smash through them as quick as physically possible. Sheffield Wednesday youngster Alex Hunt has completed a loan move to League Two side Oldham Athletic until the end of the season. Charlton Athletic have completed the signing of Birmingham City striker Chuks Aneke. He returns to the club 6 months after leaving for the Blues. If you guys would like to know more about this signing, then check out my Alex Edition series. I go into a bit more detail. Romanoy Critchlow has completed a move to Plymouth Argyle. He joins from Huddersfield Town on loan until the end of the season. Blackpool have completed the permanent signing of Crewe Alexandra winger Owen Dale. The winger was, of course, on loan from Crewe at the start of this season, but upon returning to the League One side, that deal has now been made a permanent transfer. I think, to be honest with you, we all saw that one coming. Bournemouth youngster Sam Sherring has completed a loan move to Cambridge United until the end of the season. Bolton Wanderers have completed the signing of Rochdale midfielder Aaron Morley and have also completed the signing of Manchester City youngster James Trafford. He joins on loan until the end of the season. He spent the first half of the year at Accrington Stanley. And in terms of outgoers at Bolton, Owen Doyle has completed a move to Irish Premiership side St Patrick's Athletic. Of course, we did speak about this in the first episode. This deal has now officially gone through, with Doyle obviously saying that he wanted to finish his career in his native country. Swansea City have completed the signing of MK Dons goalkeeper Andrew Fisher. Again, another one that was spoke about in the previous episode. Russell Martin was planning to raid his former side. In terms of players joining MK Dons, they have completed the signing of Wolverhampton Wanderers midfielder Theo Corbeanu. He, of course, spent the first half of the season at Sheffield Wednesday, but due to limited game time, he had his loan spell cut short, and he has now joined MK Dons until the end of the season. And they have also completed the signing of Chelsea goalkeeper Jamie Cumming, who spent the first half of the season at Gillingham. And with Cumming leaving Gillingham, they have replaced him with another Premier League youngster in the form of Watford's Pontus Dahlberg, who of course spent the first half of the season with strugglers Doncaster Rovers, where he had quite a torrid time, to be honest with you. So this one is a very interesting one. He goes from one struggling side to another. Burton Albion have completed the signing of left-back William Kokolo. The youngster joins from Championship side Middlesbrough. And they have also completed the signing of striker Gazan Ahadme, who of course spent the first half of the season at Portsmouth, but has completed his move to Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank's side on a permanent transfer from Norwich City. And this deal comes after the loss of their leading striker Kane Hemmings, who has completed his move to League Two Tranmere Rovers, which is quite an interesting one. Hull City striker Josh McGuinness has made his return to League One and has completed a move to High Flyers Wigan Athletic. And the Latics have also added Derby County midfielder Graham Shinney to their ranks in the midfield. Two very good bits of business there. Obviously, McGuinness scored a lot of goals for Hull last season, and Shinney offers them that bit more experience into the middle of the park. Doncaster Rovers have completed the signing of striker Kieran Agard. He spent the first half of the season with Plymouth Argyle. His deal expired with the Pilgrims this month, and Doncaster have picked him up on a free transfer. A couple of years ago, I felt this one would have been a very good signing, but then again, he's probably a damn sight better than the other options Doncaster have up front. And they have also completed the signing of Norwich City winger Josh Martin. He spent the first half of the season at Milton Keynes Dons. And Omari Patrick has returned to his former club Carlisle United from Burton. He obviously joined the Brewers in the summer of last year, but 18 months later he has returned to the League Two side. Accrington Stanley have completed the permanent transfer of two Premier League youngsters, Rosaire Logello being the first one coming over from Newcastle, and the second being J. Rich Bajelu. And AFC Wimbledon have also captured two youngsters, this time though from Championship clubs. Terry Ablade joins the club from Fulham, and Lithuanian winger Tomas Kalinauskas has joined the club on loan from Barnsley. Fleetwood Town have been one busy club in this transfer window. They have completed the permanent signing of Portsmouth striker Ellis Harrison. This was one that we spoke about in the previous video. I did consider Harrison a bit of a risk for Fleetwood if they were to go for him due to his poor goal record in League One, but he did score on his debut against Doncaster, so that is definitely a positive to take. And they have also completed the signings of centre-back duo Toto Enciala from Ipswich and Zach Jules from MK Dons. Enciala joining the club on a permanent transfer from the Tractor Boys, whereas Jules joins the club on loan from MK Dons until the end of the season. Lincoln City have completed the signing of Swansea City youngster Liam Cullen. The striker joins the club on loan until the end of the season, linking up with his fellow Swansea teammate Morgan Whittaker, who has signed a similar contract. And today they have also completed the signing of Portsmouth striker John Marquis. This was one that we spoke about in the last episode. Marquis, of course, was put up for sale by the Cowley brothers at Pompey as they look to freshen up their attack. Rather bizarrely, though, Marquis has only joined the club on a temporary 6-month contract as opposed to a loan. His goal record in this division speaks for itself. He's a very proven League One scorer and probably one that Lincoln do need right now. And the Imps have also completed the signing of Arsenal youngster Brooke Norton-Cuffy until the end of the season. Speaking of Portsmouth, they have completed the signing of Blackburn Rovers' Hayden Carter until the end of the season. And they have already found their replacement for John Marquis, as today they confirmed the signing of Coventry City striker Tyler Walker. He joins the club on loan until the end of the season. This one was actually supposed to be a rumour that we were going to talk about in this video, but hence it's now a permanent transfer. Here we are speaking about this right now. Shrewsbury Town have completed the signing of Nottingham Forest youngster Tyrese Forner on loan until the end of the season. And one club that has certainly been busier than anyone else in this transfer window so far is Cheltenham Town. They have, since the first episode, completed 7 new signings. Ben Williams on a permanent transfer from Barnsley, of course, got promoted with the Tykes in the 2018-19 season. Very good signing, that one. Dan Inlandulu on loan from Southampton. He spent the first half of the season at Lincoln City. Aston Villa youngster Aaron Ramsey has completed a move on loan until the end of the season. Former Burton Albion left-back Reece Hutchinson has joined the club as well. He obviously has been without a club since leaving the Brewers in the summer of last year. Milton Keynes Don striker Charlie Brown has completed a move to Cheltenham as well. The longly anticipated signing of Tottenham youngster Keon Etete has gone through as well. He spent the first half of the season at League 2 Northampton Town. They have completed the signing of former Chelsea youth prospect Charlie Colkett. The midfielder, 25 years of age, joins the club in a deal until the end of the season. So there are all the completed deals for you guys. As I say, there is quite a lot of completed signings that have gone through in this window so far. So without any further hesitation now, let's dive into some transfer rumours. So we begin the transfer rumours once again with Sunderland, and the first one is certainly one that has been grabbing a lot of interest, and that of course is former England international and former Rangers striker Jermain Defoe, who has reportedly been contacted by the Black Cats over a return to the club, and the player is seriously considering a move to the club. Now, this one is definitely an interesting one, and it has grabbed a lot of attention recently. As Defoe is certainly not the player that he previously was. Obviously 39 years of age now, but that is not to mention that his career has been illustrious, to say the least. You know, he's had a fantastic career, and his time at Sunderland, he will obviously be remembered as a legend of what he done for the club, and obviously the Bradley Lowry story as well. He will go down as a Sunderland legend. This one, from what I've seen, does actually look likely to happen. I'm thinking it would be a very good, obviously sentimental signing for Sunderland. In terms of football, obviously, as I say, at the age of 39, he's probably not going to have it anymore, or compared to what he used to have. And especially with the likes of, you know, Ross Stewart already firing in the goals for Sunderland this season, it's going to be tough for him to come straight out of the starting squad for a 39-year-old Jermain Defoe. But like I said, I think there's a lot of sentimental value to this signing. I wouldn't be surprised if this one was to go through. From a Charlton perspective, personally, I wouldn't have Defoe purely because of his past connections with the club. Obviously left us to join West Ham in the academy, and we only got about £1.4 million out of him. I wasn't about when this happened, but I've read enough to know what he done, and yeah, I don't think it's going to happen anyway, to be honest with you, if Charlton were to sign Defoe. But yeah, I think Sunderland is probably the likely destination, and like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this one was to go through, but probably shouldn't expect miracles from him. As I say, he is 39 now. He is definitely getting on a bit. But as I said, the sentimental value is there. Another striker that Sunderland were supposedly interested in this window was Ipswich Town striker Macaulay Bonne. Wigan Athletic were also supposedly interested with the player, but with the signing of Josh McGuinness, I would expect that this deal for Wigan anyway would have quieted down a little bit. Bon is on loan from QPR at Ipswich and has definitely made an impact with the Tractor Boys this season, scored a lot of goals, very good goal record at League One level this year. Sunderland, I think a couple of weeks ago, were supposedly interested, but the rumour has since gone cold, and they seem to be now, due to reports anyway, that they are now pursuing Jermain Defoe, which is quite interesting. But with Bon, I think if Sunderland were to go in for Bon and they were to sign him, it would definitely be a good option up front alongside Stewart, or to come off the bench or whatever. It would certainly give Stewart a bit of competition in the firing line. But as I say, with them now pursuing Defoe and with Wigan as well, bringing in McGuinness, as mentioned earlier, I would probably say this deal is now unlikely, and he'll probably see out his loan spell at Ipswich. It does look very likely that Patrick Roberts' deal until the end of the season on loan from Man City will go through. We did speak about this one in the previous video, but this one does look very likely to happen now. Lee Johnson's men also look set to beat fellow League One rival Sheffield Wednesday to the signing of Stoke City centre-back Danny Bath. The experienced 31-year-old has featured only 11 times for the Potters this season, and according to Pete O'Rourke, looks set to join the Black Cats, beating out rivals at Sheffield Wednesday. This would be a pretty decent signing in my opinion. As I say, a lot of experience adding to their defensive lines. And I did speak about this one in the previous video as well, but it is worth speaking about Dan Neil. Of course, I did speak about this one in the previous video, as Burnley were supposedly interested in a £3 million deal. I did say that this one would be unlikely due to Neil's, the position of both clubs. So there has been a new Premier League team that has emerged as a club interested in Dan Neil, and that is Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa. Now, this one is definitely more interesting than Burnley, and to be honest with you, I would actually see this one looking more likely than him going to Burnley. But I will admit, my opinion on the deal still stands. I don't think Neil will leave Sunderland in this transfer window, although Villa, I think, definitely would be an attractive option for Dan Neil, obviously under the guidance of Steven Gerrard, and they seem to be going in the right direction with the players that they have signed in this transfer window. The likes of Philippe Coutinho, Luca Digne, they have done a lot of business in the window, and obviously it seems like a pretty good project at Villa at the moment, so Neil could potentially be attracted to that. And like I mentioned, I made the point with Burnley as well, a certainly bigger pay rise, but like I said, I don't think Neil will make the move in January. He's had a very impressive stint at Sunderland thus far, and I think he will at least stay until the summer, and then he'll probably reassess his options there. But one big story that came out of League One recently was that Rotherham United striker Freddie Ladapo submitted a transfer request with the club, which certainly was big news at the time. But since this has unfolded, I think it has gone quite quiet in terms of clubs that Ladapo will be moving to. It is very likely, and probably, well, it's going to happen, isn't it? The fact that he has submitted a transfer request at the, one of the League One high flyers at the moment, it's likely that his destination will be the Championship. He's bagged 8 goals and 2 assists so far for the Millers in 21 appearances. The previous season in the Championship, he bagged 9 goals in 42. Then obviously in League One the season before that, he bagged 14 in 31. So he is a very clinical striker at this level, and at age 28, you can completely understand why he does want to make a move to the Championship, but it is going to be a blow for Rotherham. Manchester United youngster Ethan Galbraith is attracting a lot of attention from a Championship and League One club. The Northern Ireland midfielder is currently on loan at the bottom of the league, Doncaster Rovers, where he's played 22 games, scoring 1 goal and 3 assists. And with Galbraith having a lot of promise on his shoulders at only age 20, I'm not surprised at all that United would be likely to see him move on elsewhere. A number of top-end League One clubs are interested in Cheltenham striker Alfie May. I'm not entirely surprised with this one coming through, and it's backed up even more by the fact that Cheltenham have completed the signing of a lot of attackers in this transfer window. Danny Ndulu, Keon Atete and Charlie Brown have all joined the club over the last couple of days. So it does seem, well, from the outside looking in anyway, it does seem that they are preparing for the worst, and they are preparing to lose Alfie May. And he has had a fairly successful season with the club thus far, 7 goals and 2 assists in 26 games. One player that is a wanted man in this transfer window is Peterborough midfielder Ryan Broom. He is currently on loan at League One side Plymouth Argyle, but Posh have confirmed that they are attracting a lot of interest from a number of League One and Championship clubs. Plymouth manager Steven Schumacher has stated his desire to keep hold of the player, although it was reported, I think, last week that Aberdeen were supposedly in talks with the Welshman to bring him up to Scotland. At this point in time, BROOM has had a fairly successful campaign with Plymouth, scoring 3 goals and getting 4 assists in 25 games at League One level so far. He has proved himself to be a pretty decent creative midfielder for the Pilgrims this year, and if he was to leave Plymouth, it would be quite the blow. Since the latest episode, there has been no concrete bids for Lincoln City midfielder Conor McGrandles. Of course, he was subject to interest from Hibernian and Aberdeen, as the player was looking likely to go back to his native Scotland. Although Lincoln boss Michael Appleton has confirmed that there has been no concrete bids made for the player and claims that he is currently in a happy place despite being out of contract in the summer. And on the topic of Lincoln, their winger Anthony Scully is reportedly subject to interest from Championship high flyers Blackburn Rovers. This was reported in an article, the same article in fact, that said that McGrandles was in a happy place at Lincoln. They did report at the bottom that Scully was attracting interest from Blackburn, and when you look at his statistics from this season and the previous, it's not hard to see why. He bagged 8 goals and 3 assists in 18 League One appearances so far, so probably by far and away Lincoln's most influential player this season. The season before that, in 43 games, he bagged 11 goals and 4 assists, and at only age 22, he's going to be attracting a lot of interest. Not surprised that teams like Blackburn are interested in him, and of course, if Scully was to leave Lincoln, it would be a massive blow for the Imps, especially when they're looking to fight relegation. Plymouth Argyle, Wigan Athletic and Shrewsbury Town are supposedly interested in Irish right-back Andrew Lyons. I can't say I know all too much about this one. He's 21 years of age, currently playing his football in the Irish Premiership with Bohemians. Ipswich Town are supposedly interested in bringing in highly rated Manchester United defender Alvaro Fernandez on a loan deal until the end of the season. I doubt this rumour will have much substance to it, with them signing Aaron Morley from Rochdale, but Bolton last week were reported to have had a bid put in for Gillingham midfielder Kyle Dempsey, but as I say, with the signing of Aaron Morley, I don't think this one is likely to happen. But what I think is likely is that Kyle Dempsey will leave Gillingham this transfer window. Obviously, my club Charlton were interested in him in the summer. We supposedly had a 200 grand bid turned down by Gills. Obviously, Gillingham are in massive turmoil at the moment. Obviously, with Steve Evans being sacked fairly recently, the club just seem to be in absolute turmoil at the moment, and they will find it very difficult, especially under a transfer embargo, to keep hold of their key assets. You'd think that Kyle Dempsey would be one of the main players to leave the club at this point in time. Bolton were rumoured to have had a bid put in for him, but as I say, with the signing of Morley, I don't think this one is likely to happen. The Yorkshire Post had reported that Sheffield Wednesday were interested in taking Brighton and Hove Albion youngster Hayden Roberts on loan until the end of the season. The 19-year-old has featured 3 times in the FA Cup. One centre-back that has emerged literally just today and is quite the surprising one to say the least is Preston North End centre-back Jordan Storey. Sheffield Wednesday, Sunderland and Ipswich are all supposedly interested in the centre-half. This one is definitely an interesting one to say the least. Storey, obviously 24 years of age, plying his trade at Preston, 17 appearances so far in the Championship, bagging 1 assist. It is definitely an interesting one, as I say. I was quite surprised that this one has come out of the blue. But with Sunderland looking set to sign Danny Bath, who Wednesday were also interested, I would suspect that Storey is probably a more likely candidate. Obviously, with Ipswich being interested as well, they're also interested in the Man United youngster Fernandez, who I mentioned earlier. But yeah, Storey's an interesting one. I can't say I know all too much about him. Obviously, as I say, 24 years of age, played 17 times in the Championship. And while on the topic of Sheffield Wednesday defenders, Azaze Ergahide looks likely to join Morecambe on loan until the end of the season from Celtic. He, of course, did join the Scottish Premiership side from Sheffield Wednesday when his contract expired in the summer. He opted to leave the club for free and has signed for Celtic. He has struggled for game time up in Scotland though, and it does look likely that he will be loaned out. Morecambe have emerged as a potential candidate to bring him in. Of course, they did recently bring in a centre-back in this window in Burnley youngster Jacob Bordeaux. Portsmouth and Championship club Blackpool are interested in QPR attacking midfielder George Thomas. The duo are looking to bring in the attacking midfielder on loan until the end of the season. Thomas has struggled for minutes at Championship level with QPR. He's played only 7 times in the Championship this season. I'm not entirely sure if he's going to get that game time that he wants at Blackpool. You know, there is a lot of options in the middle of the pitch at both clubs, and I would be quite surprised if Thomas was to come into either team and get regular minutes. As I say, you know, it's an interesting one to say the least. Speaking of Blackpool, they are interested in a number of League One players. Most recently, they had a £500,000 bid rejected for Oxford midfielder Cameron Brannagan. Recently, though, after that bid was rejected, they were interested in a swap deal with the centre-back Jordan Thornley, who of course is at Oxford on loan at the moment from Blackpool. The deal that they were talking about was that Brannagan obviously comes to Blackpool from Oxford, and Oxford get Thornley on a permanent transfer. In terms of Brannagan, I am a massive fan of Brannagan at League One level. I think he is a very, very solid midfielder, and I think if Oxford were to lose him, it would be quite the blow for them. But a massive addition to that Blackpool midfield. In terms of Thornley, he has played a fair amount of minutes for Oxford so far, playing 20 minutes, bagging 1 assist. Also fairly young, aged 25, did previously play for Sheffield Wednesday as well before joining Blackpool. Would be quite an interesting deal with this one if it was to go through. It would be a massive signing for Blackpool. As I say, Brannagan would be a perfect addition to their side. Obviously, with Thornley as well, playing well at Oxford at the moment, playing a fair amount of games, he must be doing something right. So yeah, Thornley I think would be a good signing for Oxford, but Brannagan would be quite the loss for them. Another player that has emerged as a Portsmouth target is free agent Josh Sims. Sheffield Wednesday, Lincoln City and Championship side Hull City are all supposedly interested in bringing in the free agent. He of course most recently was playing for Doncaster on loan from Southampton, was then released at the end of that season from the Saints. Obviously, he had a fairly decent campaign at Doncaster. I don't think he'll go to Hull City. I think that one is quite unlikely. I don't think he'll be making a move to the Championship. I think Lincoln would be a good option for him as well. Sheffield Wednesday as well, with them losing Theo Corbin, they could do with another wide man. As for Portsmouth, I don't know really, but I think League One is probably the most likely destination for Sims. And Blackpool have also emerged as a potential club that are interested in Charlton Athletic winger Charlie Kirk. This obviously came out probably about an hour ago, as reported by the South London Press. Richard Cawley did confirm that Blackpool are supposedly interested in the winger. From a Charlton fan perspective, it's definitely an interesting one. It would be, in my opinion anyway, a big shame if Kirk was to leave on a permanent transfer this early into his Charlton career. Of course, he signed in the summer on a 4-year contract for £500,000 from Crewe. Since coming to Charlton, though, it is pretty safe to say that his game time has been very much limited at the club and has struggled to make an impact. I know he's had a lot against him this year, obviously, with his dad passing away in the summer, but it just hasn't worked out for him so far down south. Blackpool have emerged as a club interested. I am quite surprised that a Championship team are interested, considering that he has struggled in the league below. Now, what I would say, though, if we were to make a profit on Kirk, which I'm not sure is likely to happen, and if we were able to strengthen our team, I would be happy letting this one happen. You know, I would be happy to see Kirk leave the club on a permanent basis. But like I said, it would be a shame, you know, because he was so hyped in the summer. He done really well at Crewe, and I thought he was going to be one of the best players in League One this season. I really did think that, but yeah, unfortunately, it just hasn't worked out for him. I would like to see him go out on loan until the end of the season, because I do think there is still a player there, and I think that he can offer us something and he can make worthwhile the 500 grand that we spent for him. But like I said, if Blackpool are to come in and do make a bid for him, because as I say, at the moment, Kirk is only a target for Blackpool. If Blackpool are to go in for Kirk and then we do get a profit on him and we can strengthen our team as a result of that, then I wouldn't be too bothered if this one was to go through. And then we will round up this video with my club, Charlton, and a couple of rumours that have gone on recently. There was a rumour that was debunked by Richard Cawley in that we were supposedly interested in Crystal Palace attacking midfielder Jake Wells-Morrison. The 17-year-old was supposed to be a target for the Addicts, as according to The Sun, I do believe. But yeah, this one has been debunked by Richard Cawley, so I would consider this one not likely to happen. But one that has been spoke about recently is Aston Villa striker Cameron Archer, who has really impressed in various domestic competitions for Villa, especially in the Papa John's Trophy, where he bagged 6 goals and 2 assists in 4 games for the Villains. Of course, they were knocked out by Charlton at the Valley in the round of 32. He's also excelled quite well in the EFL Cup as well, scoring 4 goals in in 2 appearances. So he is definitely a young and up-and-coming prospect, and at only 20 years old. Now, Charlton aren't the only club that are interested in the player. Fellow League One clubs Sunderland, Sheffield Wednesday, Lincoln City and Portsmouth, as well as Championship duo Derby County and Preston North End, are interested in the striker. So he is attracting a hell of a lot of interest. And with Charlton bringing in Chuck Sanike recently, I would say this one is unlikely to happen unless we do decide to bring in another attacking option. From a Charlton perspective, I'm not entirely sure if this one will happen, as I say, with the signing of Anike, but he is attracting a hell of a lot of interest, so I guess it is up to Villa in terms of what they do with Archer. Whew, finally got there in the end. Bloody hell. That is the end of this episode of the League One transfer rumour roundup. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, can you possibly leave a like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and turn on those post notifications so you are notified of every time I post a new video. What do you guys think about the completed deals and the transfer rumours within this video? Let me know in the comments below. I do plan to get the next one out next week before the transfer window shuts, where hopefully there will be a lot more rumours to delve into. But this has been Tyler Rowlinson. Have a nice day, and I will see you all for the match reaction on Saturday as Charlton face Fleetwood Town. Take it easy, stay safe, and I'll see you all then.